Have you ever felt the urge to cry when a relative passes away, or do you ever catch yourself smiling while petting the neighborhood dog? These feelings that you get when participating in daily activities are called emotions. Emotions are feelings of consciousness that can be characterized by three elements: physical arousal, inner awareness of a feeling, and a behavior that reveals the feeling to the outside world. Physically, when someone sparks an emotion, they create an arousal in the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is in charge of speeding up your heart rate, rapid breathing, contracting the blood vessels, and the dilation of the pupils. One can display one physical attribution or multiple depending on the emotion they are experiencing. Scientists have also found, through many tests, that certain emotions have a greater impact on some physical attributions than others. For example, anger, fear, and sadness showed greater increases in heart rate than in disgust, and disgust has a greater electrodermal response than happiness. Along with the sympathetic nervous system, the amygdala also helps with our emotions. It can be found within the limbic system and is on both sides of the brain. It is mostly associated with pleasure and fear, and if damaged, a person can forget to experience these emotions. Lastly, our emotions can also be determined by our frontal lobes. Researchers have found that positive emotions, such as joy, can be identified in the left frontal lobe, and negative emotions, such as anger or sadness, can be identified in the right frontal lobe. Our frontal lobes also help us identify facial expressions. Facial expressions are gestures we make using our facial muscles when we experience a certain emotion. Facial expressions are theorized to be the products of evolution and can be characterized as universal. Our facial muscles evolved so that we could show the people around us what emotion we were experiencing without having to communicate it to them. For example, someone showing an angry face would tell another that they should stay away or expect to fight. An observation that backs up the theory of evolution is that people who were blind use facial expressions to communicate even though they haven't seen the expressions. While facial expressions may be interpreted differently around the world, researchers have found that there are 7 basic emotions that are the same anywhere you go. Those emotions are anger, fear, disgust, sadness, happy, surprised, and content. When we label our emotions, we use the cognitive elements. This labels your emotions based on past experiences you've had that sparked the acknowledgement of that emotion. For example, whenever you came across something that grossed you out for the first time, you sparked an emotion called disgust. From that point on, every time you came across that item or something similar, your mind knew what that item disgusted you. We use emotions every day of our lives without even thinking about them. They make us who we are, and without them, we would just wander the earth not feeling anything. We need them to create bonds, interact with the surrounding world, and to just live a normal, joyous life.